What's up guys, welcome back to another video. If you enjoy Kengan content, make sure to subscribe and join the Discord to talk more about its greatness. So today I'm talking about the manga that came before Kengan Ashura and shares the same universe as Kengan Ashura by the same author as well. Known as Fist of the Seeker, was pretty much a webcomic that the author of Kengan worked on in the 2010s and onwards past that. The art at the start and later on isn't the best because it was for Doraemon came on the scene and helped do the art for Kengan Ashura and currently for Kengan Manga. This is the Sandovich, the author or the person who writes the story for Kengan Ashura, Kengan Manga. It's his story with his artwork, and based on showing the screen, that's the level of artwork at the start, so it's not very good, but the story is solid so far. As I mentioned, it shares the same universe as Kengan Ashura with some overlapping characters, with it coming out or being started before Kengan Ashura was even a thing. The basis of the story is when a martial artist, Mentara, is defeated in a tournament hosted by the Roshin Korean karate school, he gives up karate to seek the strength he could not achieve through it. Soon enough, the same karate school calls for another open tournament and invites Mentaro and several other martial artists from different schools to compete. He sees that this is his chance to get revenge and see how far he has come in his training since his first initial defeat. The genres of the story include martial arts, action, shonen, comedy, and drama. Very similar to how the Ashura tended to play with the idea of tournament, training, and everything about that. All characters getting their own little part with like backstory and so on, so when they get their fights. There is currently only 22 chapters translated to English from a translation group, and the last chapter was done around 9 months ago. But looking at the rules, there's broken up to 2 parts. So for part 1 there's 79 episodes or 79 chapters in total, and then part 2 there's currently 36 episodes. I think it's still ongoing from there, so about 100 or so, 110, 114 or so chapters as a whole so far have still continued. There's also a side story little element of it as well. The art does improve quite a bit, and you see, going from, my opinion, absolute trash, but I'd probably draw like that as well, to pretty decent solid stuff later on, but still nowhere near the level of Kengan Ashura, Kengan Mega greatness, especially later on in Mega and late Ashura, which looks like top tier amazing stuff. As I mentioned earlier, they share the same universe as Kengan Ashura, so they have many overlapping characters. One, or the ones in particular that I'll mention, is Joji, a character that we first got to see in Mega, who pretty much is helping with Koga's training so far. Jose, the purgatory fighter who was defeated by the Six Fang in his match and helped also in Koga's training as well. And also the master of Cosmo and Adam Dudley appears and fights during the story of Fist of the Seeker, and it's good to mention that the person known as Joji was one of the top fighters in Fist of the Seeker and can be compared to the top fighters of Omega. I'll talk about a Q&A that the author did about a month or so ago with Kengan Ashura and Fist of the Seeker question relating to it, which will go over the sheer power and how OP some of the Fist of the Seeker characters are. There's also an interesting character that seems to have the Kure eyes, or seems to be part of the Kure clan, but isn't called Kure. Its name is Samato, or something like that, Samato, who seems to have a very similar personality to Rayan, who is currently my favorite character in the series. So based on the first 22 chapters, because they're the only ones in English, and then I've looked at some raw stuff, I don't know what they're saying, but the fights have got better and they're being longer as well. So as the story progresses, it's shown to be very akin to Kengan Ashura, and you can see that this is in the same universe or done by the same author, and how it's so much similar and so much alike, and a lot of characters are overlapping when it comes to personal traits, will to fight, training, and so on. So now I'll go into the Q&A that the author did. So someone mentioned, can you tell me more about the Wakatsuki family? Wakatsuki was born in a very normal family. Do the Kure clan know Samato? That's the person with the Kure eyes that I mentioned that's in Fist of the Seeker. This is what he said. They both know each other's existence, but they don't communicate to each other unless it's necessary. So this could be connection to the Wu clan, or this is what the fandom pretty much thinks, that Samato is maybe a member of the Wu clan, and just the idea of the Wu clan wasn't really thought of back then, and maybe we'll get to see him later on, or maybe it's another branch of the Kure clan that's different to the Wu clan as well, which would be very interesting to see. Is there a reason why both Samato and Rayan have similar personality? The answer is they are distant relative and they are both the aggressive kind. Is Inaba Kuro related to the Inaba clan in Kengan? There's also another Inaba hair-using fighter in Fist of the Seeker. He is a murderer that was exiled by the Inaba clan, so increasing the plot and story. Is Cosmo going to turn into a freak just like his master? As we know, his master absolutely tanked Chad. No, that part is more like a personality trait of him. Can Chiba copy any Seeker fighter's abilities? Maybe, but there's a lot of Seeker fighter abilities that Chiba cannot copy though, meaning that they're genetic based, such as the removal and maybe the advance and everything around that. Is Hatsumi Ryozo potential is 10? What about Sen? Ryuzo's Aikido is above Sen, so as we know, Hatsumi Sen is an Aikido master, best we've seen in Ashura. A person in Fist of the Seeker is stated to be above Sen when it comes to using that, so that's something to think about. How is the relationship between Sen and Ryozo? Not bad, but since Ryozo is from the main branch, they kind of keep distance from each other, so we get more connection of the clan Hatsumi Sen is from and where he learned that, assuming that this person is maybe an older master in that style, that's why he's above him. How would Katsugo perform in Kengan Ashura Annihilation Tournament? He pretty much implied that he would make it to the finals and have a good chance of winning or losing at the same time, so most likely he's on the same level of Kuroki Gensai based on this, so you could assume that many of the top 3 fighters in Fist of the Seeker are high level or like B tier or a little bit below in Kengan Ashura, Kengan Omega standpoint, which is very interesting to think about. Here we got a very interesting one. Did you base Katsuga on Yudro ? Is Katsuga's body stronger than Wakatsuki? Yes, Katsuga is stronger. I think he is the top in Japan. There is a chance he might be able to see his power in Kengan. So a character that's shown to have more physical strength than Wakatsuki is mentioned to be in Fist of the Seeker, which is just insane to think about. And the last question, if you're much going over, if Jojo is still in the top 3 of the karate school and including the new generations in Fist of the Seeker, and it's mentioned that he's still in the top 3 and showing that he is very capable fighter in Omega as well, so it's very interesting things to think about as well. So that's pretty much everything we have for Fist of the Seeker. I highly recommend reading the first 2 chapters. As I mentioned, the art isn't the best. Hopefully we get more translated chapters soon, and there is a lot of material, like 50 or so plus chapters for part 1 to still be covered, and then there's a part 2 with 36 chapters or something like that to still be translated as well. But honestly, you can really just look at it and enjoy the fights, because the dialogue, it is good, the story is solid as a whole, but as a whole, Kengan Omega, Fist of the Seeker, it's not really 100% about the story. The story isn't the focus, it's all about these Super Chad great fights. Hopefully you get to see some of these top fighters that are said to rival top Kengan fighters later on in Omega, or maybe some other manga, spin-off mangas or anything along those lines, which would be great to see. Hopefully learn more about Fist of the Seeker as time goes by, and that's everything for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, subscribe, join the Discord, and that's it guys. Peace.